Good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough. Look at that.
Perfect.
Now we take our little thing here, clean up our little mess. In our Intel Mod Workshop.
So excited.
Gonna put this back over this because we just want to pretend you get the peel. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the ever so important peel part. Okay, sir, if you want to come start right here, and then you're going to peel this way. Come out or come around front.
Okay.
And now you're going to see all the pretty, because now you're going to see all the lights that you couldn't see from the front. You're going to start right, yeah, there you go. Oh, we're going to start from the bottom here. Here we go.
Oh, I love it. Ooh.
There it is.
Wow.
That looks so good. It's so shiny that we're seeing all the reflections of ourselves in the reflections. It's meta. Okay, there it is right there, guys. Intel Mod Workshop, the Intel Arc. Dude, what'd you think?
I had so much fun. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for having me out here. I still can't believe it. Like, that's so cool.
Now, if you guys want to catch Cobalt, make sure 6 o'clock Central Time. Pretty much every day.
Just about every day.
Every once
Except for
in a while,
Thursdays, D&D.
Yeah, Thursdays he's got D&D. That's at 2 a.m. And it's on ESPN 8 The Ocho. No, I'm just kidding. It's right after Dodgeball. Yeah, after Dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the 3Ds or 5Ds or whatever they are. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Super appreciate you going there. Huge shout out to Intel Arc and Newegg for providing all of the parts. Congratulations, obviously, on Intel Arc, the first live build. So many milestones now being knocked out right now as they continue to start their domination of whatever they're dominating.
Taking them
but
down.
Anyway, something. It's going to be great, whatever it is. But anyway, guys, this has been Intel Mod Workshop. Super appreciate you guys being there, and we look forward to seeing you on, PDT or PST. It is CST. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Central boy.
He's from one of those states that nobody lives in. But
exactly.
True. Yeah. So, but anyway, that is what's going on. Super appreciate all of you guys hanging out tonight, and we will see you guys on the next one. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
My name is Mauro. I'm from Brazil, but I'm currently living in Argentina. I got started in illustration probably since I'm a little kid. At school, I was always drawing while I had to be paying attention actually to the mathematics and math school and history, grammar, but I was actually all the time drawing on my books and notebooks. And then I studied graphic design. I worked in advertising agencies as art director for 13 years. But I was always having side projects at the same time, you know, involving illustration somehow. So I decided to do this side project, which I called my visual diary. I wanted to document my life, everything that happened there that was important to me. I wanted to represent as a small doodle or in a big piece of paper. And I kept myself drawing on this paper for 2 years. This side project was actually my turning point. It was the project that led me to do illustration as a main project in my life, not as a side project anymore. I sent it to hundreds of magazines and newspapers, and I did got lots of impressions. Since then, I kept myself very busy doing lots of illustration with my intricate style to lots of clients around the world. The piece I've created for Intel, I was thinking, how could I put together the two worlds, the world of gaming and the world of technology? I tried to put them together, somehow they talked to each other. Everything is in the same world, living together. There are lots of hidden objects, lots of things related to gaming and to technology at the same time around this robot and his 7 screens.
name's Isaac Lefebvre. I'm a designer and illustrator based out of Seattle, Washington. As a kid, I was really big into drawing. Fast forward some years later, really common kind of path into professional creative work is something like graphic design, so I kind of got into that. Over the years, little bits of illustration kind of creep into my work. I went full-time freelance earlier this year in about March. It's kind of the thing I'm doing, like probably 75% of the time I'm doing illustration work. Kind of in the context of my work, there was this program created called the Works Progress Administration. One of the things that they did a lot of work on, and would be the thing they're most famous for, is all these really awesome national parks posters that were being done around then. Came out this very distinct style that, like, all this stuff super excites me. Big fan of like classic 16 and 8-bit video game console stuff because I grew up in like the late 80s, early 90s, and so that was a huge part of my childhood. Sort of like more contemporary stuff. I'm really into a lot of these indie studios. Dead Cells is spectacular. Super Meat Boy, I thought that was like mega fun. A lot of the art direction and just sort of vibe and the scenery that's being done in these games is breaking convention and really has like a specific voice to it that I think is real nice. For me, I took this as a great opportunity to just sort of get out of what I'd say is like my recent comfort zone and just dive into it, while at the same time finding ways that things that I work on a lot can interact with that. So it is a landscape. You have kind of like mountainous elements in it and stuff. There's definitely sort of a scene there. There's like rocky outcroppings. Then I just went wild with it. I was like, let's just get crazy. Let's stick it sort of in outer space for starters, because I never do that. Let's make it like glowing and a circuit board. Lots of just really visually arresting things happening. And so, yeah, I just wanted it to be real fun and kind of exploratory. I think it turned out pretty fun. 8086 is actually a reference to kind of like an old classic Intel processor. I thought that was kind of just a cool reference. You folks in the know will kind of see it and we'll get like kind of a chuckle out of it, I guess. One really cool thing about creative work that somehow gets into sort of people's space is they chose the thing that you made, they liked it so much that they wanted it to be there right in front of them all the time. It's honestly a great honor. It's something I'm like super proud of when that happens, man. It's a huge part of why I like what I'm doing, for sure.
Nelson, and I'm a pixel artist and illustrator. Then I've been working in the game industry and entertainment industry, and I'm currently working on my own indie game. You know, pixel art is like so versatile, having its roots from retro video games, and now it's taking kind of like a pixel art renaissance where like people are using it more like for their art styles and not necessarily just for games. I feel like pixel art has really evolved over the past couple of years. You know, people really like push it to its boundaries of what it can be. For this piece, I wanted to do like a top-down video game style of a train station that you typically find in Japan. You have like a lot of outdoor train stations like this. I wanted to depict a bustling scene with people waiting for the train and doing their own thing, and there's like fish flying in the sky. A lot of artworks that I've made where the recurring theme is flying fish. I really like drawing that kind of theme. It's like drawing opposites, and I think that's what attracts me to it. So I went to PAX to show off the indie game that I'm working on. It was super fun. We had like a lot of positive feedback, and everybody was really attracted to our booth and the artwork in it. Also the Intel booth. The first thing that drew my eye to that was those really big murals of the Deathmat artworks. It took some time to take a look at them, and I really enjoyed it. There's so many different ways to express yourself. For me, like I like drawing because I like to express like the experiences that I've had. So a lot of my artwork is focused on traveling to different places and kind of like capturing like a specific memory that I had in that place. I find it really comforting when people come back to me and they're like, this makes me feel really nostalgic, and like people can really relate to it. Different formats that I want to try expressing that feeling, and I can relate to it is really fun. That feeling is what I want to like bring forward to the table.
cosplaying was kind of cool because I could kind of take concepts of like ships or storylines that I wanted to see happen in canon that never happened and bring them to life. It's kind of like being an artist without the ability to draw.
In reality, it is just a really expensive adult dress up, but it also gives you the same amount of serotonin that dress up did when you were younger. You know, you're a kid, you're dressing up like a superhero. You're an adult, you're still dressing up like a superhero. I like that aspect of it. You're growing up, but you're not like losing the wonder that you had when you were younger.
Hi, I'm Liz. I go by Inspector Lemon Cosplay, or Lemon.
And I'm Amanda, and I go by Acrocost, and we're a cosplay couple. I'm a military brat, so I grew up all over the place. Anime has kind of just been like the main aspect of my life. Cartoons and anime kind of were separate, so you had everyone who was watching cartoons, but like kind of made fun of anime. It was kind of like a little hidden interest of mine for a long time.
I got into anime like when I got into middle school in like 6th grade. There was this girl sitting in the same little like cube of desks as me, and this girl had her book on the table, but she kept looking at her lap. And I was like, what are you doing? And then she was like, I'm reading manga. And I was like, what is that? Through that, I eventually found Inuyasha, which would become like my favorite series of all time.
Oh, so death do us part. Oh. This is our agenda.
It is our agenda. Oh no! That's so rude. I think it would be.
He's coming with us.
With you?
Yeah, I like this one. A lot of these are like really old because a lot of these are the ones my dad got me. This is basically what got me into Spider-Man and got me into Marvel. Because he was like, well, one of these is gonna work. My father was like super into Marvel and I was super into DC, so it was kind of like an inside joke that every holiday he would buy me a Spider-Man comic and he'd like, you're gonna love Marvel more than you love DC. And in the end, I just loved both. My dad did pass away last year. It was like hard because everything that we did together had to do with anime and comics and everything. And growing up, those were things that I was super interested in, and like they were my heroes and he was also my hero. So I've actually cosplayed a lot of the different franchises we liked. So I've cosplayed a lot from Spider-Man and I've cosplayed from Batman, and those were like the main ones. It's kind of those things that you grow up with these characters and you grow up wanting to become them, and when you lose your parents, you still have these heroes. They kind of live on. So this is the garage. It's kind of a disaster, but this is where all the old costumes get put.
Like these guys stay out here and this guy is just foam and super glue. I've had it for like 5 years.
The only thing that really can't stay out here is like
Inosuke.
So if it gets too warm and he has to go inside.
Yeah, he is foam and hot glue. So he is temperamental with the heat, and I don't want to risk it because it took so long to make him, and I'm so proud of him. He's so cute.
So Loki took months, like 3 or 4 months maybe.
Yeah.
These are all individually glued down. They're like little resin pieces that have to be casted. And then they're also on the pants everywhere.
This is like a blend of like the stage play Inuyasha and then like my own kind of like take on some stuff. So he's a little delicate because he's brocade, but I'm very proud of him. I love him a lot. Definitely one of my favorite costumes. So this is our stream room, or office room.
We do a lot of our Patreon stuff in here.
Oh, that's valid, yeah. We do, yeah.
We watch YouTube videos, you know, very professional things.
Being very productive.
Yeah. So recently I got a new laptop and it's this one. So usually I would do streaming and gaming on my old laptop, and I would do all of my photo editing and my video editing on my computer. That was mostly because I couldn't run both on just the laptop. All of my crazy like multitasking has held up super great with this laptop, which is super cool.
I'm streaming using Streamlabs, OBS, and then playing Genshin at the same time, and it's nice to have the option for both. With an Alienware X15, it gives me that opportunity to do that with consistent frame rate, which is something that I really appreciate. I recently downloaded Elden Ring, and I just started playing it, and It's incredible the quality that the 3070 graphics card allows for playing this game. It's gorgeous and absolutely amazing to play.
I am working on replacing my cloud glove. I'm updating pieces on it. I made this about 2.5 years ago. And instead now, I'm gonna burn holes into the top of my glove. And then I have
use actual screw rivets.
Yep, and use actual screw rivets onto the top of the glove. So it'll look pretty cool when it's done. But that's what I'm gonna be working on. Right?
Which one's your favorite Final Fantasy?
10.
15.
You can go first.
I really love 15 because of the characters. I also really love the aspect of an open world where I can kind of go off and do quests. I really loved cooking in the game, and it sounds weird. My favorite thing to do was to get ingredients to make new recipes.
And fishes.
Yeah, fishing is my favorite. I like going to all the different areas to collect all the fish.
I am contact cementing a bunch of pieces. All these pieces are going to eventually look like a pauldron, hopefully. You're just going to put a very thin layer on one end, and then you're going to put a very thin layer on the other end, and then you're going to give it about 5 minutes until it's kind of like matte looking, and then you're going to press them together, and it creates like an almost impenetrable seal, and it just bonds those together, so they become one. My favorite Final Fantasy is 10 and 10-2. It was the first one that I was like, this is the game where the female leads are the powerhouses. It took all the stereotypes of video games during its time and just like broke all of them. It's not something you really got at that point in time. For instance, Pain is a character that was very much her own alternative look that wasn't really a popular design in video games up until that point. It also became a turning point, I think, for video games.
That's probably why I picked up 10, because it was the first Final Fantasy game that I had ever played. I lose interest very easily with things, but it somehow still kept me. I would say that it holds a special place in my heart as one of the few games that I made it all the way through. First time we met, I was at Holiday Matsuri 2016. I was standing in the Starbucks line in that lobby, and I'm like standing there waiting for my drink to be called, and I see this with love, the largest Prompto, like so tall, and you had a engine blade. Yeah, so you just stood out like a beacon, and I was just like, oh, that's such a cool Prompto.
I was running late. Then I'm rushing to the escalator, and then all of a sudden, you totally tapped me on the shoulder, and you're like, "Hey, loser!" What's up,
No, it was more. It was just like, "Hey, what's up, loser?" I didn't know how to display. I was like, you know, whatever. Like, I'll just see how this goes. How to make friend insult. When I got into anime, kind of didn't talk about that I liked it with anyone, just because that was what it was like then.
If you're going to like cons, because we do a lot of guesting, you meet a lot of people and they look up to you and they're like, well, you're dressing up like a character. I want to dress up like a character. And because they saw you do that, they can do it too. It makes a lot of happiness that didn't exist there previous to the costume. It's more fun. We do so much throughout the day and our schedules are so packed that when we do have a day off, what we enjoy to do is just kind of like get out of the house.
Say cat trick as well, or something else?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, can we do 2 of those?
She said Patrick. Raiders on the wheel. He's gonna be in a mood today.
He's like, didn't want to be petted.
Liz is obsessed with cats, so
Yeah.
down the road is the caffeinated cat. There's like a bunch of little cats that take in, and you can adopt them if you want
I like to challenge myself by not taking any home ever. Cat is so interested. There's one in the tunnel over there, and he has the cutest little face. Even if you're having like your day off and you're kind of having a down day because you're stressed, you go in and you just get a bunch of kittens to pet.
And I think that's why we like it so much.
You never get to look at things.
I know, I didn't bring my card though.
It's fine. We'll like come back for it.
Being able to cosplay with someone that you're in love with is a different kind of experience. All the characters and the shows that you adore, you get to share that with somebody else. You escape into these characters. You've made a whole fantasy land for the two of you. All of our interests and everything, they co-align, and even if there's a show or a video game that I like that she doesn't, she'll listen to me rant about it for hours on end.
You really, really, really loved the Beetlejuice musical, and I was like, what is that? And then you dressed up as Beetlejuice, and I was like, well, you know what, maybe I can listen to some of the music. And now I like the Beetlejuice musical.
That's fair.
So, as a kid, like, you look up to these characters.
They fall in love. It's the plot line of everything.
Seeing that romance and that love that they had that transcended time, and then like being with someone that you love and then being able to be those characters.
Yeah. Actually having that happen in real life and then still being able to dress up with that person, it's another level of incredible because you don't really get that.
I really was kind of a jump first, look later kind of person. When I was a kid, I loved film. At the same time, I loved video games. I loved everything, especially everything in the arts. I also simultaneously studied music, and I have always liked technology. My name is Matt Ebisuzaki. I work for Mercury Soul as managing director. I am a trumpet player, filmmaker, and as much as I can be, creative artist. I went to school as a trumpet player, got my undergrad at the Curtis Institute of Music. I studied film all on site, always in the middle of a project. Worked on maybe roughly 200 or so projects at a production house in the city, and then kind of merged both of my careers into where I am today. When I was a kid, I was probably 5 years old. You know, from the moment you start thinking. And I used to play early Blizzard games, and one of my favorite things about these early games, they always came with these packets that did or didn't have anything to do with the game itself, but I always loved stories, playing video games, doing all these things. It was just a natural extension of storytelling. Classic game right here, Full Throttle. I'm a motorcyclist now. Maybe it's because of this video game. Let's say it's because of this video game. I never beat this game. I definitely used the cheat codes. Virtua Fighter for PC, did it a lot. Halo made me love first-person shooters. And I played that first level on Legendary and got it down so fast that I could beat it. And I think my record was 11 minutes. Good stuff. This actually brings back a lot of memories. I have a few different credits as a musician in Final Fantasy XIV Lightning Returns and a few other games that I'm not allowed to talk about, so I won't, but they're ones that you play every day, hopefully. When Mercury Soul got involved with Gamer Days, we knew that we had to create an orchestra. We knew that we had to take the music from video games. We didn't even know which video game yet. We didn't know how big the orchestra would be. That was just the artistic element that's going on stage with Dr. Lupo.
We ready?
We are ready.
Do it.
Yeah.
So we're following the gameplay that's happening live. That means every single checkpoint, every single time a scene changes, the music is adapting with it. Usually when you play the game and you walk through it, you don't even notice these things. But for us, we're directing the viewer in real time and also making changes in the orchestra as it's happening. We have our camera set up to make sure we capture every single precise moment of detail in the orchestra. We have our broadcast center back there. We've got many monitors, everything from recording decks, switchers, RoboCam operators, TVs, everything that you can imagine. With Dr. Lupo, as this is happening, as they work together to create this marriage of live soundtrack and live gameplay, which is insanely complicated, and yet boom, it's happening. So that aspect is all about the fulcrum and intersection of where filming and music land right there. I still play the trumpet every single day as much as I can. I have a trio luminance with cello, harp, and trumpet. And one of the things that we're actively doing is continuously producing new video content. And it's not just to do more, but it's to become better at it. I know from a musician perspective that practice makes better. And so in the video world, it's the same thing. But doing more and doing better means also making sure that you have the right tools to do that. You need to have agility in your workflow, and that means having something that can process your videos quickly, render out quickly, so that way no matter what happens, you're ready to adapt to creative needs and not have to supersede technical impediments that are on the way. Tomorrow, I will also be teaching a trumpet lesson. Talking over Zoom takes a lot of horsepower, especially when you have to talk to someone here, bring up a document over here, and you have to have a video and playback over here. And if you don't, it creates a terrible experience for the student. Whether that's creating a document, whether that's creating this stage layout, which was done in Illustrator, or if it's rendering a video so that whoever the client is can see what's happening before we actually shoot it. The Asus ROG M16 allows me to be creatively free to unleash whatever I have at my disposal out into the world. And it means I can just, on a Friday night, decide to just go gaming crazy, play some Overwatch, play Call of Duty, and just get completely in the zone and not have any worries. I think I did okay. This new chapter in my life represents a moment where everything that I like doing is an opportunity, is a project, is a way for me to be expressive and to make a difference in the sectors and the fields that I really want to. And that includes music, technology, and art. Having things like this be brought to life that marries all the different things that I do, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. You can actually marry what you love creatively with what exists in the real world, and to give like an actual purpose to being means that your life is worth it.
I think there's really something special about where you come from and what your family gave to you, and something that my family has given to me is my palate. When I make a latte for somebody, it's something I really care about. It's something I made from my own palate that my family passed down to me, and I'm able to serve that to the community in a way that makes them feel loved, that makes them feel cared for, and it's really special. It is. It makes my job worthwhile. It's really just utilizing all of the gifts that my ancestors gave to me and serving that to make people feel cared for. My name is Erica Escalante, and I'm the owner of Café Reina. I'm a barista, a baker, a mommy, and a gamer. I was born in Temecula, California. I come from a Latin family. My dad's family is from El Salvador, and that is really important to my upbringing and my culture. I have always loved playing games. So every few Christmases, my family would all pitch in together and make sure we got a new console for Christmas. You know, it was really special because even from a young age, we knew that my parents really couldn't afford that, and that it was a gift from many different family members, and that they all pitched in so that we could have a gaming console. Hold on, let me make sure this isn't too much coffee for this.
There, I get it.
You got it? Okay. I've loved coffee for a long time. I remember drinking coffee at home with my mom with cream and sugar, and then as I got to be a teenager, we would go to the Starbucks, and it was really expensive, and so we could only go every once in a while, but man, I was hooked. I thought it was the coolest place. And so right after high school, the first place I went to apply was at Starbucks.
Whoa.
Look at that. What do you think? Wow, look at the cake. Wow! Oh. So after high school, I knew I wasn't going to be able to afford to go to college. My parents helped me find an internship with an old friend of theirs up here in Portland, Oregon. It was a lot of kids and a lot of older people, but there wasn't a lot of people my age except for one person, and his name was Trevor. He's kind of like a quiet, nerdy, nice guy, and something I really loved about Trevor was he really liked playing games, and it's just really sweet when you find someone who has the same level of gamer that you do, and our level of gaming seems to match each other, and that's just really special and sweet. Okay, you're supposed to go down now. No?
Wait.
No.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
you go.
Oh, I see.
I'll slide down
Well,
here. Right?
no. Okay.
No. No, I think you have to jump over, right?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
You let me go down this
All
side.
right. We'll show you our wedding cake right here. Settlers of Catan was on the bottom.
It was
which is
a
a
cake.
board game. This is a cake. What father of the groom wears a short sleeve collared button up to a wedding?
See, to me, that's like the most endearing thing that he could have worn. I love that. We look so different, don't you think?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I like myself more now.
Yeah, I like myself more now too.
These are conchas. Vegan conchas.
Pretty good.
I found a job near the small church that I attended, and it was a small Hawaiian tiki themed coffee shop. A couple of years went by, and the owners were working other jobs, and they just really needed to be done running the coffee shop. They asked me, like, hey, are you interested in taking over this coffee shop because we're done? I said yes. I was 21 years old. Trevor and I had just gotten married 2 months prior.
Yeah, I'm doing it. So.
You know, the cafe has always been my thing. It's not really been Trevor's thing, but I've just needed so much help. And so even when we first got started, I would train Trevor as a barista and get him behind the bar to help me out. And he has worked throughout this company many, many, many days. And so even now, he'll come and help on the weekends. If we're short-staffed or we just need an extra hand, he'll be here to help me bake, to barista, to work the register, whatever I need. He's always been willing and available to help. I was able to expand into Portland into a bigger shop, and eventually as I grew older, my business also kind of matured and created its own identity as Cafeteria. It means coffee queen in Spanish. And I'm really, really proud of the brand. I'm really proud of our vibes. I really understood as I got older how sweet my heritage is, and I was able to infuse that into what we do here in the cafe. I love it, people love it, and it's just fun to show off my family heritage. You know, as the years gone on and our family has grown, we have 2 kids now, we still love to game together. We still take time every evening almost to play games. Now our kids are getting into gaming too. Our oldest loves to play video games with us, and I'm sure our youngest would too. She loves to watch while we play. The pandemic was obviously really hard for kids because they couldn't go to school and they couldn't play with their friends. So Geely would call or FaceTime her friends or her cousins, even from out of state, and they would log on together and play Minecraft together for a really long time and spend time together that way. It was really, really fun. We have a Predator Triton 500. It's really awesome for gaming, and what's great about it is that we can all game at the same time now. So if I'm playing on the console, Trevor's on his computer, we still have another option to kind of either play together, or two can play together and one can play their own thing. But it just gives us a lot of options for what we can do and how we can spend time together. I haven't played a lot of Destiny, but now it's really nice when Trevor wants to play that I can play it side by side with him using the laptop. It's super nice that the laptop has all the power of a desktop, but then it's mobile, so it's great for work stuff. I definitely use it for like accounting purposes and all the different graphic design you have to do for a business, so menus, signage, all the different things. It works really great with all that. As I've been raising the kids, I've just realized how important community and culture is to me, and how important it is to teach them about their place in the world. And so it's been really important for them to know their extended family, to be around them, to learn from them, to be loved by them. And so we made the hard decision that it's time for us to move back to Southern California. You know, as proud as I am to create this business and to create Cafe Reina, what's most important really is for us to be with our family and raise the girls in the culture. Man. I think I'm most proud of creating that place that I loved when I was a teenager, like creating that sense of belonging for other people and for myself. When I was a teenager, I wanted friends, I wanted connection, and the coffee shop gave that to me. And so now it's like I'm giving that to others. I've been in LA for a couple months now. I'm getting settled in, and I'm having a great time. I am loving being back. It's been really great to be back in the sunshine and being able to reconnect with friends and family, and honestly just to have time to myself. I am the head of retail for a coffee company here in LA. My job is basically to create a roadmap for them to open up their first retail location and then more retail locations down the line. The kids aren't here yet. My oldest wanted to finish out the school year, which is totally fair. We've just been finding ways to connect, which has been fun to play video games together and spend time together that way. Cafe owning to a lot of people seems like a dream, and it was my dream for a very long time, but my dreams have changed. I'm just really proud of myself for having the courage to change directions and pivot according to what I wanted in life and what I thought was best for me and my family. Someone once told me, if your girls were in the same position, what would you tell them to do? What advice would you give them? And so when it comes to making these really big decisions where it feels maybe a little selfish even, it's like, what would I tell my girls to do? And I would tell my girls that it's okay to change, it's okay to pivot, and it's okay to have new dreams. And we don't necessarily need to worry about the sunken cost of the time that we've already put into it. If you're ready for a change, then you should make the change.
you